Hello, you're tuning into Đồng Nai radio and television station, coming first with local news. Đồng Nai People's Committee recently sent an official dispatch on mobilizing and creating conditions for workers working in enterprises in the province not to return to their hometown during the Lunar New Year 2021. At this time, many workers in enterprises in Đồng Nai province want to return to their hometown to celebrate the Lunar New Year. However, in order to prevent the COVID-19 epidemic, it is especially encouraged not to travel to epidemic areas and to minimize travel between localities throughout the country to prevent the spread of the epidemic. Chairman of Đồng Nai People's Committee calls and requests the leaders of enterprises in the province to mobilize and recommend workers who are working in factories, enterprises not to return to the hometown but to stay in Đồng Nai province to welcome Tet. If workers and employees return to their hometown to celebrate Tet in epidemic localities or go through epidemic localities, the possibility of being blocked in the locality is very high, unable to return to work after Tet holiday, and especially the risk is in close contact with COVID-19 infected people in the community. After the Lunar New Year, when returning to Đồng Nai, it is possible to implement the centralized isolation according to the regulations of the health agency and then lead to a shortage of labor working in the enterprises. The leaders of Đồng Nai province also suggested businesses, depending on the capabilities of their units, to support workers to welcome it. According to the General Statistics Office, the business establishment registration situation in January 2021 had many prosperities when increasing in both quantity and capital. Accordingly, in January 2021, the whole country had nearly 10.1 thousand newly established enterprises with registered capital of 155.1 trillion dong, and the number of registered employees was 115.9 thousand employees, an increase of 21.9% of the number of enterprises, an increase of 25.9% in registered capital, and an increase of 37.2% in the number of employees over the same period in 2020. The General Statistics Office also pointed out the average registered capital per enterprise newly established in the month reached 15.4 billion, up 3.2% over the same period last year. If including 240 trillion dong of additionally registered capital of 4,015 enterprises registered to increase capital, the total additional registered capital to the economy in January 2021 is 395 trillion dong, of 10.5% compared to that of same period in 2020. The Russian Foreign Ministry announced on February the 3rd that the country and the United States officially extended the new Strategic Assault Weapon Reduction Treaty, New START, for another 5 years. The notice said the New START Treaty will enter into force without any changes or conditions until February the 5th, 2026. According to the announcement, the phone call between Russian and U.S. leaders on January the 26th has played an important role in the process of promoting the two countries' extension of the treaty. In addition, the announcement adds that Russia is ready to continue to maintain a constructive dialogue with the U.S. to achieve new results, which reinforce the world's strategic stability. On the same day, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken also released a press statement on the extension of the New START Treaty with Russia. The judges of the International Court of Justice, ACJ, the highest court of the United Nations responsible for resolving disputes between countries, February the 3rd issued a ruling stating they can hear the case of Iran against the U.S., in which Tehran attempts to find a way to lift Washington's sanctions against Tehran. A majority of the sitting judges think that the ICJ has authority to hear the case. Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif praised the ICJ's ruling. On Twitter, Foreign Minister Zarif wrote, "Another legal victory for Iran." According to him, the ICJ has denied all initial U.S. objections in the case brought by Iran against illegal U.S. sanctions. Meanwhile, the U.S. State Department expressed its disappointment at the ICJ's ruling. That's all for the news today. Thank you for joining us and goodbye.